We're 135 days away from the World Cup. The whole world will stop to see 48 nations fight to lift the coveted trophy that represents that they are the best team in the world. We'll be highlighting all 48 nations, and today our World Cup spotlight focuses on Ghana. The Black Stars qualified for their 5th World Cup in the past 6 tournaments after making their debut in 2006. Their best run of those appearances was a quarterfinal run in 2010. Now, Ghana is a 4-time AFCON champion, but their last title came in 1982. They failed to qualify for the 2025 tournament, and they haven't made it past the round of 16 since 2017. Now, U.S. men's national team fans know Ghana very well after they faced the Americans in 3 straight World Cups from 2006 to 2014. Ghana did win the first 2 meetings, but the USA won in 2014 thanks to a John Brooks game winner in Brazil. Now, brothers Jordan and Andre Ayew are Ghana's all-time cap leaders, and the strong bloodlines don't stop there. The Ayew brothers' father was legendary Marseille Champions League winner and 1982 AFCON winner Abedi Pelé. Ghana's draw at the 2026 World Cup is a difficult one. Their opener is against Panama, but things only get tougher with England up next, followed by a potentially decisive group finale against Croatia. Now, I just mentioned it, Tony, the history that the U.S. men's national team have with Ghana, taking the first 2 wins in the first 2 meetings, but then the U.S. coming back to win the next one. But how has Ghana really been viewed historically when you think about the U.S. men's national team?
Well, for a while, they weren't viewed at all, right? And all of a sudden, they became our World Cup rivals, right? We played them 3 times in a row, and we lose, as you mentioned, the first 2. And I thought the one that we actually won in 2014 was probably the least of our performances, you might say, right? The one in the middle, the one in added extra time, that was the heartbreaker. That was the one, because we had already lost in 2006 to Ghana, and you thought, okay, in that game, the way the game went, you're like, okay, we're in this game. Like, this is our time, and then we lose again in a group that we'd won the group, right? So you were feeling good about the national team. So this rivalry, if you will, came out of nowhere. Yeah. And I got to tell you, when the draw was happening this year, I was sat watching with my family, and I'm like, Ghana's coming. Somehow Ghana is coming again. Right? But we avoided it this time. But it's been a fun rivalry. It's great. It's a team that's been strange over this period, right? Doesn't qualify for AFCON, but gets through in the World Cup, and we're really good in World Cup qualifying. So, but a really, really talented side. And by the way, that uniform that they're wearing is gorgeous. One of the best uniforms that has ever been created at a World Cup. So that if you've got that Ghana jersey, you're lucky.
Yeah, the U.S. shirt's not too bad. What you mentioned, though, is like my favorite part of international football, not just tournaments in general, is the United States has very little to do with Ghana outside of the football context. And yet, here we are. We played 3 consecutive World Cups. Asamoah Gyan is in my nightmares. I just remember him being such a threat for them up front. Andre Ayew as well. These moments, I remember them as if they happened yesterday. The Clint Dempsey goal inside 30 seconds. The John Brooks header as well. What about that for the United States? And then the 2010 one, I just say, though, is the most difficult one to handle, because it wasn't just that they were playing Ghana having won the group. The path looked there. That Uruguay team was decent but beatable, as Ghana almost did, if not for that Luis Suarez handball on the line and the subsequent missed penalty. Ghana could easily have made the semifinal of that World Cup, and you think, oh, could the U.S. have done something similar? But yeah, it is kind of incredible how these 2 footballing nations that otherwise have nothing to do with each other are so intertwined.
Well, let us know in the YouTube comments how you guys think that Ghana will fare in the World Cup. Will it be just group stage and out for them, or will they make it into the knockout stages? Let us know what you guys are thinking for Ghana in the World Cup. So let's talk about this Ghana team, because when people talk about the group they're in with England, Croatia, and Panama, people say that Ghana is the easiest. You look at their FIFA ranking, right now it's 72 compared to Panama's, which is 33. They also didn't make AFCON in the latest edition of it. So people see kind of that version of Ghana. But when you look at how they did in World Cup qualifying, they finished first in their group stage. So which is the true version of Ghana?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I mean, of course, AFCON qualifying is a little bit more rigorous, I think. You have stronger teams. In particular, I think Ghana did have stronger teams in their group. Only 6 games. If you make a mistake, which they made many, then you're kind of on the back foot already. World Cup qualifying is a little bit longer. I think it's allowed Otto Addo some time to make some tactical adjustments, to instill a little bit more belief, and to get the balance right of youthful players with experience experienced players. I think Ghana has been in this odd transitional period for quite some time now. There were some older players, I think, that they held on to and relied on for a little bit too long, despite having young talent coming through. So it was a very up and down, very inconsistent, but I think they began to find their feet, find their belief. And again, I think, not making it into AFCON was a bit of a motivation as well to ensure that they bring the World Cup berth to the country. And so I think that's what happened. And hopefully the version of Ghana that we get in the World Cup is the one that qualified for the competition.
Yeah, and Mbizo, when you look at this lineup, there's some talented players in this group. I want you to go through a couple of them. Semenyo is one guy like today that sticks out because of the move to Man City. Kudos. There's some other players in there. So what's an expectation when you look at this lineup for if you're a Ghanaian fan right now?
I mean, they have delightful depth, I think, particularly in the attacking section of the field. I think one name that's missing there, for example, is Kamaldeen Sulemana. I think Issa Haku is also a top-class player, Ernest Noama. So they have a lot of attacking talent, but I think that at this juncture in time, they haven't quite been able to maximize that potential. And again, I think Ghana is still a work in progress. They have tried to do some restructuring within the organization. They have started to look at the balance of the team. Maybe they're a little bit less deep in midfield and in the defense, but they're a team with extreme potential, but they are young. They are inexperienced. So it will probably take some time for Otto Addo to get them truly firing on all cylinders, which they demonstrated they're capable of during the AFCON qualifiers. So again, it's a question of really finding the synergy between these top-class players, including a Semenyo, who you mentioned, who for me, I've been a huge fan of his for about 2 years now. But again, across that attacking line, they have so much talent. Now, can they get those boys to play to their best potential? That's Otto Addo's challenge.
And another challenge, I think, going into this World Cup for Ghana is injuries. You see Mohamed Kudus there, and Iñaki Williams has dealt with injuries this season. Salisu at the back would have been a key center back for them. How important is the injury issue for Ghana with not very much time left before the tournament kicks off?
Yeah, I mean, it's key. When you look at players like Kudus not being available, I mean, that's disastrous. But again, I think they have to try to have faith in their younger talents, players who are hungry to make their mark, not only in international football, but also obviously to make a name for themselves for anybody who might be watching in Europe. So I think that's going to be their challenge, again, is to try to utilize their depth and hopefully try to get these players healthy. I know their clubs are obviously working to try to get them healthy. And maybe available for the second or third match of World Cup qualifiers. But it is a precarious situation, unfortunately, for the Black Stars.
And Mbizo, let's take a look at the schedule for Ghana, where they'll be playing, who they'll be playing in the order. So they do kick it all off by taking on Panama, which can be seen as one of the easier countries in this group stage. That game will be in Toronto. Then they follow that up by taking on England, one of the favorites in this tournament. That will be in Boston. And then they round it out by taking on Croatia, and that'll be in Philadelphia. So they're staying on the East Coast here. Are any one of these a little bit more in favor of Ghana? Are there a bit more Ghanaian fans in any of these cities?
Yeah, I think Toronto, as my research has shown, has the largest, I think, Ghanaian diaspora in Canada. So, and of course, they have a really large African community in general, and it's growing as well. So, since they have that well-established diaspora, I think that could be friendly. If all the Africans there are as Pan-African as I am, there'll be Ghana fans in the stadium there, and in general, the atmosphere will be very welcoming. And of course, I grew up in Philadelphia, and I grew up with tons of Ghanaians and a slew of other Africans, particularly in the southwest and western regions of the city. So they're very likely to have some good support there as well. Again, Africans tend to come together during World Cup, and we don't just support our nations. We tend to want the name Africa to ring out. And so we're hoping that maybe they'll have some good support in those cities. They tend to be cities that are more welcoming to African immigrants and to African visitors.
Does this mean that we're going to see you in Philly for the Ghana-Croatia match, Mbizo?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm hoping to be there to watch the Black Stars bang 2 goals against the Croatians and qualify for the second rounds. But maybe that's wishful thinking.
We don't have to ask for predictions now.
I know. We know it. Mbizo's prediction here. But Witty, let's get your predictions on how you think they'll fare at the World Cup and if you think that they'll get out of the group stage. So let's go through them.
I feel bad because I'm slightly more pessimistic. I'm slightly more pessimistic about Ghana's chances. So my predictions looking at these 3 games, I think Panama in Concacaf, you can underestimate them at your own peril. This has been a very good team in the Concacaf region. I think Thomas Christensen's going to have them ready. I have called that one a draw in the opening game. And then, unfortunately, you look at England, you look at Croatia. The only way that Croatia game might swing for me is if Croatia's already qualified. But otherwise, I think England win. I think Croatia win. I think Ghana gets 1 point from this group. I think they're eliminated in the group stage.
Oh, wow. And Mbizo, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a fair assessment, but it's difficult for me as an African football fan, and knowing that Ghana historically is a giant of the African game, despite obviously credit to them, Panama's wonderful campaign to get to the World Cup. I find it difficult to believe that Ghana will not triumph over the Panamanians. And again, it's a critical match. If Ghana has any hope, I think, to progress, either as a second place team, which is obviously very hopeful, but as one of the best third place teams, that match is critical. So I believe that they'll get 3 points there. I hope they'll get 3 points there. And again, I think England and Croatia, those are extremely difficult matches. I predict England will get 3 points there. But I do believe that this Croatia team isn't the one we saw in the last couple of editions. I think they're aging. I think they're in a transitional period, potentially. And I think that Ghana can perhaps fight for a point there, maybe even more. Again, this may be, my bias. But I certainly do think that Ghana has some talent. They have enough talent to trouble that Croatian backline. And who knows, maybe scout the victory and surprise them.
I was waiting to see if Tony would say anything. Tony was smiling.
Say it, Mbizo, say it. You called it 2-0. You said 6. I hear 6 points in the group.
6 points in the group.
My math is not always great.
Winners even?
That was perhaps hyperbole. But it is my hope.
He's backtracking. He's backpedaling.
No, we love the positivity in Mbizo. Don't change. We love it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount+.